Good morning, dear friends. Happy Life, chapter 153. Give yourself the right to remain impassive when provoked. In this insensitive day and age, evil runs rampant, seducing the heedless. Hear the anger of those who attack you. Their unbridled sex tempts you. Over their ambition awakens your interest. Vice closes in, snaring its victims. All around you, troubling forms of entertainment arrive. Everywhere, the triumph of crime and the disintegration of values spread their tentacles like cruel and domineering octopus. See such features as a trail of poisonous thorns hidden under lush green grass. Do not step there, thus avoiding grave harm. So today's message is a warning, right? She starts by saying, give yourself the right to remain impassive when provoked. And then she goes on to talk about a number of things that can be quite tempting in today's lives. So there is a lot of disharmony in our society. There's a lot of illusions that have been created and beliefs that have been embraced that do not necessarily give us the peace and the harmony that we are seeking for. Now, what she doesn't say here, and we always need to remember, is that anything outside that is tempting us, it is tempting so because it does find an equivalent environment within ourselves. So it's also important to pay attention to those things. First, identify that they are not good for us, and then recognize that what's tempting us outside is also within us, and therefore is calling for attention and for understanding and healing of whatever it is, right? So two persons will not be tempted by the same thing. And why? Because the temptation is really not outside. The temptation is always inside. So there are always two ways to tackle those things. One is by the imposition of discipline. You can say, I recognize that I'm tempted, but I also recognize that this no longer suits me. This no longer quenches my thirst. I'm not really thirsty for this. I'm thirsty for something deeper, for something more meaningful, right? And while you're doing that, which is kind of a behavior, kind of an outside tool, so to speak, then we're also giving ourselves time to dive within and to try to understand, what it is inside us that is actually responding to those so-called temptations, right? So give yourself the right to remain impassive when provoked. So we don't have to respond to all the things that are out there. We need to be conscious, and these days more and more conscious of what our life is truly about, what is truly essential, what is truly important for our happiness, what kind of values and type of living we are really wanting to ourselves. Self-love is about choosing the best for yourself, choosing what is going to ultimately bring you peace of mind and harmony within. This is self-love. So although we might want something, when we recognize that something is not the best for us, it's okay to remain passive when provoked. So do not step there, there's avoiding grave harm, because a lot of times as we yield into temptation, so to speak, right, we are not only hurting ourselves, we're creating like a lot more trouble and a lot more disharmony that will need to be addressed. So have a great day, a conscious day, a day of, we should not fear those things. We should understand that it's part of our humanity, it's part of the journey. That's what we're here for. But let's step into this day consciously and giving ourselves the right to remain impassive when we are provoked.